most valuable cars were in the marquee. Centre stage, the 1916 Indianapolis race car. Despite the war, Courtland designed and built the 6-cylinder 4.9-litre engine to fit into a 1914 TT chassis, and it was entered for the 1916 300-mile Indianapolis race. Josef Christians took a very impressive 4th place. The engine later found itself in a 1921 Grand Prix chassis and was very successful at track racing and record-breaking at Brooklands. As the owner tells us later, the car isn't over-restored and it runs and it sounds as good as ever. The 1922 Strasbourg Grand Prix car was one of 4, based on Ernest Henry's design. They were built to a new 2-litre formula ready for the 1922 Grand Prix season. The French Grand Prix at Strasbourg saw the Fiats going faster than expected, and Courtland's solution was to lower the back axle ratios to remain competitive. Seagrave held on to 4th place, but all of the cars fell to mechanical problems due to over-revving. This is the only survivor of a team of Sunbeams entered for the 1912 Coup de Loto race at Dieppe in 1912. Maximum capacity 3 litres. These Sunbeams were basically a modified version of the standard 1216 Tourer, but fitted with a racing body. To make life even more exciting, the race was held concurrently, and the leading Sunbeam came home 3rd, behind a 7.6-litre Peugeot and a 14-litre Fiat. In the Coup de Loto, the cars came 1st, 2nd and 3rd. This was Sunbeam's first serious international competition, and a superb achievement. And a superb condition too, thanks to the National Motor Museum. The 1914 Tourist Trophy was a 2-day event on the Isle of Man, and this is the survivor of the 3 Sunbeams. Many of you will know that Louis Courtland was the chief engineer, and impressed by the 1913 Grand Prix Peugeot, he had one brought over quietly and copied to produce a 3.3-litre engine, double overhead camshafts, 4 valves per cylinder. Kenelm Lee Guinness won the event by covering 600 miles at 56.4 miles per hour. We built 10 cars in 1921 to compete at Indianapolis and the French Grand Prix circuits. This car was modified for the 1922 Tourist Trophy race on the Isle of Man. Jean Chachanier took 1st place with an average of 55.78 miles an hour over 302 miles. Thanks to the Donington collection, it's with us today. The attention to detail externally is impressive. The rocker box covers, even the engine mountings. DA6468 is the second of the three 1922 Strasbourg Grand Prix cars. UK 3059 was built originally for Major Seagrave and shown at the 1926 Motor Show. It went with him to Daytona in 1927 when he broke the land speed record in the 1000 horsepower Sunbeam. The car had a checkered history, engine changes and modifications. It lost its body to another 3-litre in the 1960s. The chassis came back to England in 1978, and after 20 years, restoration was started last year with the fitting of a replica body. This is the Tiger. There was also a Tigress and a Cub too. Remarkable for 1926, this car has a supercharged V12 engine derived from the 1924 2-litre Grand Prix engine, rather than the large capacity aero engines which might have been used for land speed record projects. It set a new land speed record at 153 miles an hour and then went on to Formula Libre, circuit racing and class record breaking, as did its sister car, the Tigress. Malcolm Campbell bought the two cars and had Thompson and Taylor update the design and make up a new chassis for circuit racing. As late as 1990 it was still racing competitively and covered a flying kilometre at 157.48 miles an hour. DA8667 is the Cub, based on the 1923 French Grand Prix winning Sunbeam and then fitted with a supercharger. We hoped for a repeat win in 1924 but failed due to faulty magnetos. Seagrave won the 1924 Spanish Grand Prix in this car despite a crash. Sunbeam used the car extensively at Brooklands, and then it came to K. Don. He named it the Cub. Anthony Heal raced the car throughout the 40s and 50s, and it later passed to Peugeot, an old adversary. The Cub lives at the National Motor Museum.
No, you probably go home in the Porsche.